Emotional intelligence is something that's been studied for decades. And in the latter part of the last century, Daniel Goleman published his book on emotional intelligence, which kind of burst it out into the mainstream. So first of all, what is emotional intelligence? Well, there's 5 components. And the first one is around self-awareness. How well we know ourselves. Do we know our strengths and our weaknesses? Do we know those areas that we need to improve upon? The second aspect is around self-regulation. How well can we regulate our own emotions under stress, in difficult circumstances, when we feel like we're on the defense or when we feel like someone's criticizing us? And next is about motivation. How well are we able to press through difficult situations? Can we tap into our own intrinsic motivation and develop resilience or optimism in the face of adversity? And now we get to kind of other awareness, right, in emotional intelligence, and it's really around empathy. Now, empathy is distinct from sympathy. Sympathy is when we feel bad for someone's circumstances. Empathy is when we try our best to actually step into another person's shoes and see a situation through their point of view and to imagine what it might be like, right, to be them in that moment, even if it's difficult for us, or even if we disagree with some aspect of who they are or what they're doing. And lastly, social skills. And social skills is it's not about being outgoing or not outgoing. It's really being able to confidently communicate, right, to be able to coordinate individuals, to collaborate together well. It doesn't mean you have to be the loudest voice in the room, but you're able to tap into individuals and create a community atmosphere. Now, why does that matter in leadership? So just imagine a leader who's not self-aware. Imagine a leader who is not able to self-regulate. Think about a leader who can't empathize with someone or understand what someone's going through. Think about a leader who gets bogged down and can't self-motivate past challenges. And think about a leader who doesn't confidently communicate or effectively communicate in groups. Those things would actually prevent you from being an effective leader. Right? Now, there is a lot of debate on, can emotional intelligence really be honed? How do we kind of learn it? How do we develop it? Well, first we have to recognize and evaluate ourselves against all of those 5 components. We have to be willing first as leaders, those who lead others, and those who don't necessarily have direct reports, but want to leverage their leadership skills. We have to be able to ask ourselves, where are the areas that I want to develop in? And how would that make a difference for me? And we want to seek out information, resources, training, development, conversations that allow us to develop that emotional intelligence over time. Now, emotional intelligence isn't something you could just get from reading a book, right? A lot of times you actually have to have experiences that allow you to practice and exercise some of that emotional intelligence. And sometimes how we learn about emotional intelligence is in the moments when we don't have access to it and when we reflect back on a situation and say, I wish I would have said this differently, or I wish I would have done this differently. Emotionally intelligent leaders are able to listen. They're able to truly hear people. They're able to take focus off of themselves. They're able to actually lead with humility, and people feel safe in their presence. Now, if I asked you, do you want to feel safe at work? Do you want to feel heard at work? Do you want to feel motivated at work? You'd of course say yes. And those are the things that emotionally intelligent leaders provide. And it's a challenge because in organizations, we sometimes move people up and we don't ask ourselves, are these people that are going to empower their teams to thrive? Are these people going to be able to show empathy, to truly care about the humanity of the people around them? And organizational leaders need to answer the call and the challenge to stating that that is a must, that who leaders are must be the kinds of people that are able to listen, that are able to empower, that are able to self-regulate, that are self-aware, and that engage in self-awareness activities. So are you an emotionally intelligent leader? Is there an area you want to develop in? Take that first step, whatever it is. Maybe it's attending a webinar. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's just Googling and finding something that's going to help you understand a little bit more about yourself. So go ahead and take that on today.